Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have a package to open. Surprise, surprise. This is sent to me by my buddy Kyle, if I'm correct about what's in here. Kyle, by the way, is DTOM, Knives and Gear. If I'm correct about what is in here, then it should be something that's actually from Lefty EDC that Kyle borrowed to check out, and then Kevin from Lefty EDC had him send to me next, and I am correct, because in here we have a GiantMouse Ace box. This is the brand new GiantMouse Ace Nimbus version 2. The Nimbus existed, but they have made some updates to it, and I'm excited to check this knife out. If you've followed much of my progression with GiantMouse knives, you'll have seen that when I got the Grand, it reinvigorated me for GiantMouse knives. I had previously had some less than ideal experiences with their knives, and I really liked that one. And then, to prove that they were really pushing their own boundaries and making improvements, GiantMouse actually sent me a Biblio. And so I reviewed that as well, and the Biblio that they sent and that I have to this day is really nice. I like that Biblio quite a bit. And so when they announced that this was coming out, I got real excited because 2 knives in a row from GiantMouse have been very good. And if this is a revised Nimbus, which was a design that aesthetically I liked and thought was cool, but just never jumped on, if this is revised to be more like the Grand, for example, which it seems to be, then that's a very positive thing in my book. So let's go ahead and check it out. This will be a nice quick unboxing. I'll save my first impressions for a separate video, and then I'll be doing a full review on this as well. But first things first, the micarta appears to be the exact same material that's used on the Grand. I like that because I love this micarta. I think it looks great, feels great. We have a wire clip just like the Grand, and I like it. I still wish they, along with many others, would put a deep carry clip all the way to where it's kind of flush with the butt end of the knife, but that's a nitpicky small thing. This one's positioned quite well. It's not like there's going to be much knife sticking out of your pocket. The lanyard tube, if you want to call it that, lanyard hole, is tucked out of the way. It's not super intrusive. It's not getting in the way of anything that I would mind, so I don't mind that at all. And you can see we do have a nice crowned spine with the jimping placed nice and far forward. So let's see how she middle finger flicks. Okay, that was not bad at all. This is pretty comfortable in hand. I like the ergos. I was a little worried before having it in hand that this kind of forward finger notch, this groove here, finger groove, was going to be awkward in the sense that it would put this hump like right in kind of on the pad of my middle finger. That sometimes happens for me, but it doesn't. I wrap in there nicely. That feels good. Again, always love that GiantMouse puts their jimping nice and far forward. When I'm in a saber grip, my thumb lands, boom, right onto the jimping. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't know where it came from to have everybody decide at some point that jimping goes here, because maybe for some people that works and makes sense, and maybe you disagree with me on this, but jimping right here just doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe on like a really maybe tactical knife where you're trying to like get as much reach as you can, but when I am using a saber grip, like hammer grip, my thumb's down here, right? But in a saber grip, it feels uncomfortable to cram it back here to where most people put the jimping. What feels right and where I put my thumb when I'm in a saber grip, generally speaking, is all the way up here. So I like that they put it here on GiantMouse knives because it's where my thumb goes. And if you're going to put jimping somewhere, the idea of it is that it's going to add a traction point, a little bit of grip there, and that's where it makes sense to put it. They also use nice fine jimping, which isn't overly aggressive. Paired with the crowning on the spine, it feels pretty good to me. I'm usually very critical of jimping, and this is one of those cases. And GiantMouse in general nails this, in my opinion, where jimping makes sense, and I welcome it. I like that there's jimping right there. It works for me. This is a full flat grind on the blade. These are LMAX, and I like LMAX steel quite a bit. partially because it has such an awesome name, but also because I've had great experience with it. And this full flat grind looks great, and it feels pretty slicey to me. Not like crazy thin. It's certainly not like a laser beam, but it feels like it's going to do pretty well slicing tasks. I like this. It's funny, I've heard some mixed things about this knife since it came out. Some people saying that they loved it, others saying that they felt like it kind of missed the mark a little bit. I will say the angle that I'm middle finger flicking it feels a little different from other knives, from the Grand, from the Biblio. The access to the hole is just a little different, but of course I fail as I put my hand in the wrong place, but I'm not really like overly having an issue with it. Now I am, of course. Anyways, it's working for me to middle finger flick it. Yeah, if I don't think about it, it's better. But yeah, that works. Let's see how it goes to thumb flick it. Yeah. The access to the hole is a little bit restrictive, I'll say, but it's not overly restrictive. And at least for my fingers and my hands, I don't see it being a problem deploying this knife. So that's good. The liners internally are skeletonized a little bit. I don't know if it's going to really be possible to show you, but I'll try just in case. If you can see in there, maybe on that angle you can see a little bit. There are just some kind of sizable holes drilled out internally. I also like that on these new Ace knives from GiantMouse, they're putting, instead of like laser etching on the blade, a bunch of billboarding, all that they put on the blade is the Ace logo here. And then internally, inside the scale, they put Vox Anso GiantMouse logo, made in Italy, LMAX. So it's got all that info laser etched inside the knife, where it's kind of hidden, but if you look for it, it's still there. It's not like you wouldn't be able to figure out the info you want to about this knife because it's nowhere to be found. It's in there. It's just hidden from, like, the show side of this knife looks nice and sterile and clean, and I love that. I'm not a fan of big billboarding. There's very rare exceptions where I find that it looks cool. Usually, I think it just adds unnecessary busyness to the front of the knife, or even when it's on the clip side. Like, this is nice. It's understated. It's a little, this is an Ace knife. Okay. But here, how clean does that look? I dig it. Anyway, so that's cool. Yeah, this is nice. I'm not going to dig any deeper because I'm starting to get into first impressions territory, and I'm trying to work on rambling a little bit. Not that I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to try to do it right place, right time kind of thing. It's still going to happen. Don't get mad when I ramble. If you do, don't watch my channel. That's okay. You can not like my rambling. It's going to happen. But anyways, trying to be a little more concise a lot of the time here. So this is the GiantMouse Ace Nimbus V2, and it's brand new. When these dropped, they sold out pretty quickly, so just like the Grand, it's going to be a while before people can get them, before they're back in stock places, so be prepared for that. If you missed out on this and you really want one, then I don't know what the timeline will be for them to become available, or who's going to get them retailer-wise or what, but I know that this one is in my hands right now, and it is thanks to Lefty EDC, who will be linked down below. I'm good friends with him at this point. We talk all the time, and I'll link to his Instagram because he's a cool dude and he posts cool stuff. And if you like knives, then you'll probably like him. If you're a lefty who likes knives, then he's an especially good source of information. So thank you guys so much for checking it out with me, and I'll see you on the next one. There will be a first impressions of this within the next few days. Thanks.